Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Pot of Parables. I'm Venerable Calvin. This is February 20th, 2021. And first, I would like to pay respects to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And I would like to pay respects to you viewers and anybody who's watching. Please hit like, subscribe, and don't forget to comment. Oh, and tell everybody to watch this video, please. So before I begin this video, I would like to read a quote from the story. It says here he grieves, hereafter he grieves, the evildoer grieves in both existences. He grieves and he suffers anguish when he remembers his impure deeds. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that anything that you do in this life will affect you in the next life. So if you do good, your next life will be good. If you do bad, then your next life will be bad. But it doesn't necessarily mean that in the next life you'll get your comeuppance. A lot of the times you'll actually get comeuppance in this life too, So always be mindful of whatever you do, because if you harm others and you hurt others, then in the end you'll end up being harmed or hurt yourself. Now, so there's this story called The Cruel Butcher, and this man was a butcher, and he was a very, very cruel person, a very evil person. And instead of killing the pigs right away, he would actually torture the animals, and he would cause them so much pain and anguish that they would actually want to die. And at that point, he would kill them, but he never ever really killed them right then and there. He actually enjoyed causing pain and suffering to other beings. And then one day he started becoming sick, and he started to crawl on his floor with so much anguish and pain that it resembled the animals that he killed. And the thing about it is, he was actually close to a monastery where Buddha was, and the other monks, upon hearing the screams, thought that he was actually torturing the animals, when in reality he was the one screaming in pain instead of the animals that were screaming in pain. And after that he died, and he was born in a woeful state of existence. And what does that really mean? Well, like I said, like anything that you torture or anything that you do that is deemed bad, or anything that you do is deemed evil, will punish you right then and there, and it will affect you in your next life too. So, there are other stories like that out there, where people who've done so much evil to other people, or so much evil to other beings, that they actually suffered the consequences right then and there too. And there's a story of Ted Bundy. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but he was a very famous serial killer in the 1970s who killed a whole bunch of women from state to state. And then one day he tried to lure a woman into his car by pretending to be injured. And as soon as the woman let her guard down, he grabbed the woman and tried to push her in his car. But luckily, she actually fled and ran, and the police were able to ID him, and they actually brought him in. And later on, he paid for his crimes. He went to court, he became his own lawyer, and later on they actually gave him the death penalty. And the thing about it is, whenever you do evil deeds, you always suffer right then and there. And there are countless of other stories too, countless of other stories too, like the Iceman. I don't know if you guys remember, but he was actually a famous, or an infamous hitman who worked for the mafia, and he killed scores of up to 100 people. And then when he was caught, he was thrown in prison, and he died in prison from being stabbed by another prisoner. Now, does it really mean that people who do evil deeds always get the comeuppance right then and there? No, but in this life, they all in this life they do. Like even if you haven't been caught for your crimes yet, you'll always be caught for your crimes later down the line. There's nothing in this universe that is hidden. The only thing that reveals whatever is hidden is time. And, it's, well, what I'm about to say is that, instead of doing any evil deeds or instead of doing anything to harm others, it's better to commit good deeds or to not harm other people. Like that's why in Buddhism we take the 5 precepts: to not kill, to not steal, to not lie, to not do any drugs, and to not commit any adultery. Because when you hurt and harm other people, you therefore hurt and harm yourself. And one negative thing leads to another negative thing. Like, if you're doing drugs for the first time, you might end up being addicted, and you might end up stealing from other people. You're already breaking one precept, and then you might end up lying to people to cover your tracks. You're breaking another precept. And then later on down the line, when you're really desperate enough, you might end up actually killing somebody over a high. And pretty soon you're breaking all your precepts, and it leads to a woeful place of existence already. Being a drug addict or being somebody who's living on the fringes of the law, you're already living in hell. You're hiding from other people. You're running from the law. You're creating such a mess for yourself that you can't even get out of. And that's why it's a hell that you had to escape from. But the thing is, though, sometimes a mess that you created is so entangled that you can't even get out of that entanglement. So the best thing to do is to not do anything bad or not do any evil deeds at all. And what does that mean? Well, you had to develop positivity, and you had to develop a sense of mind within yourself. Like you have to have the right understanding. You have to have the right concentration. You have to have the right action, and you have to have the right thoughts. Because anything from the mind always leads to physical actions. It always starts from the mind first, and then it leads to physical actions. You can't have anything. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You can't have anything negative and create a positive action. Like you have to have positivity within yourself to create positive action. And that's why in Buddhism we teach loving kindness and we teach understanding, because we have to develop it within ourselves in order to actually, make a better impact on the world. And if there is no positivity inside of you, or if there is no loving kindness inside of you, then there is always going to be ill will or anything that's negative. And that's why instead of actually doing anything that's wrong, or instead of doing anything that's, evil, try to develop something positive within yourself. Try to develop something that's good within yourself. Instead of ending up like the cruel butcher over here, you could actually end up in a better state. So on this note, I would like to pay respects to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha again. You viewers and anybody who's watching, please hit like, subscribe, and don't forget to comment. And also, please tell anybody that you know to watch this video, and tell that other person to watch this video too. I want to get so many people to watch this video, please. Thank you so much, and have a great day.